Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 73 on this Tuesday night. We have a special guest with us tonight, our cat Gordy.
She doesn't know what's going on, but that's a radiator back there, so
Yeah, she knows what's up.
she's getting comfortable.
As most of you know, in the Chicago area, it's been single digits for high temperatures, so
crazy.
it's been kind of crazy, and we've been indoors most of the time. But yeah, they love being on the radiators.
It made it all the way up to 12 degrees.
Ooh, maybe I'll get my bathing suit on.
Yeah, yeah. And then snow Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and next Tuesday.
Yeah, that's no bueno. So yeah, we're definitely looking forward to spring. I don't know, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah. You mean April?
Yeah, pretty much.
Because that's probably going to be it.
Although I always remember that we moved into our first apartment at the end of April,
The end of April,
and
right.
it
I think
was like 30
the 29th
degrees.
or
It
30th.
was rainy
Yeah.
and gross. It was so cold. So I always think of like, don't give your hopes up because it can be gross in April. Comes the opening day.
Well, that's like the coldest place in the universe.
Pretty much.
But I helped my brother John move. It was the first weekend of May. I couldn't tell you the exact date, and this would have been in like 1990, 89, 88, somewhere around there. And there were snow flurries in the morning.
Yeah.
In May. Although it warmed up a little bit. So actually for moving it wasn't really all that bad when you consider the alternatives if it's 150 degrees in the middle of the summer.
Definitely. But we're still in it, so in the thick of it. So we're surviving that. But thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
She has no idea.
She's
what's
tired.
going on.
She was actually up in our daughter's room. That's where I'm working right now, and on the radiator is a really big soft blanket, and she got so wrapped up in it that she fell off the radiator and with the blanket. Oh my God, she's so great.
Well, the other one is actually Waffle is actually on a chair right next to us, but she's kind of like under the table. The table.
We think they like to be here. Obviously, she's up there, but sometimes they're just sitting on the seats when the chairs are tucked in because they can get the warmth from the radiator too. So that's funny. Now she's doing doing yoga.
Doing cat yoga.
But we want to say thanks for all the positive responses to our epic tattoo day. I thought it was funny that you said our historic day of getting.
It was, yes.
It was historic.
It was historic for us. Where are you going?
So I actually just took off the little like cover of mine last
clear
night.
bandage.
And I was super nervous about it just because it was like really tight to my skin and everything. And it's like Biddy said, you're not gonna rip it. Obviously, you're not gonna damage it. You could just like rip it hard. You're not gonna do anything. But I was like very easy going at it. And now it's a little bit tender just because I've been rubbing lotion on it, which is part of the instructions. Of just keeping lotion on it and washing it and stuff like that. So, but we both said that we're happy that we went in naive.
Without knowing what to expect.
Without knowing what to expect, length, the amount of pain, all that stuff. And we're glad that we knew nothing going in because then it was just kind of like once it was over, we're like, okay, we're glad that's over with.
But I do think it's different for different people. And so I don't think everybody, I think for some people it goes really easily. I took the thing off mine too, and of course it was huge. And the problem is that, it's fine now, but it's a clear plastic, it's a bandage essentially, that just protects it while the ink is setting and all that. But the problem is that after it's been on, since mine was large, he said 2 to 3 days. So after it's been on for a while, the lines start to look a little blurred. And it doesn't look as clear and crisp under the bandage because the bandage kind of gets, it gets a little wrinkled because you're moving around and so forth.
Yeah.
So when you take it off, then you realize, nope, it looks just fine underneath.
Yeah.
Once the bandage is off, it looks like what you expected it to.
Yeah,
so
I was going to
lines
say
are
the
really
same
clear.
thing because I was like, it looks like it's smudged.
Yeah, but that's just the effect of the plastic.
Yeah.
It's kind of like saran wrap almost.
It is, and I kind of like that they put a clear cover on it so it's not like you So you can kind of see what it looks like,
Right.
you know, and you don't have to, and you can keep looking at it before you take it off.
Well, and if anything went wrong, like if there was an infection or something
yeah.
like that, you'd want to be able to see it. But that wasn't the problem. But it is a little more sensitive after you take it off, because that also protected it.
Yes,
So.
yeah, and I think just having just clothes on it a little bit is just mine's a little bit tender, but
right, because it wasn't in contact with your clothes
Right.
before because of the plastic. So yeah.
So we got almost 600 comments, which is kind of
600 comments?
No, not 600 comments.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
600 views. So thank you very much for that. And
For 600 comments, some of them would have had to have been negative.
yeah. We got all positive things. But somebody said that the Clash T-shirt that you wore was perfect for the occasion because they were playing the Clash when you walked in. One person said, and I like this, that she has on her. Stacy said that she has 4 like trees, and like a Christmas tree almost like that, or a pine tree, and underneath it says "Wandering," which I thought was good.
Yes.
And she said she might also get one that has like a drawing her daughter did and like her signature when she was little. I thought that's also a very good idea of doing something like that. Our friend Krista said she just got one touched up, and she said it's good that if you get something that's meaningful that you don't mind getting it touched up, you know, years later or whatever, instead of having to cover it up with something else.
One of my brothers, speaking of drawings, one of my brothers, after my brother John passed away, and by the way, I mean, not to be a downer, but it's going to be 30 years in April since my brother John passed away. It's insane. But one of my brothers, one of my other brothers, took one of John's drawings. John was a really talented artist, and it was a drawing of a dragon, kind of like a Chinese-looking dragon, and he has a big tattoo of that on his arm.
That's very cool.
Like the same size as the actual drawing.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
I bet that would have taken a long time as well.
Yeah, and there were, you know, I don't know how many colors, but more than one, more than just the outline plus a solid color. I think there were a couple. So that's always part of it too. Is that like mine has a little bit of detail, but it's mostly the outline and then sort of like a tan color and then black where the pick guard of the guitar is. But what he did that was really kind of cool is he added just little bits of, I guess, sort of white. It was almost like a wash that he put over, so that it looks like the little screws on the guitar holding the pick guard in place and things like that.
Awesome.
There's actually a lot of detail.
Yeah.
Aside from just, you know, doing freehand, not only did he, you know, obviously do the outline of the guitar, but he also, you know, all 6 strings on the guitar, not just up the neck of the guitar, but connecting to the tuning pins, and the fret wires and the little dots, you know, on the fret board. So it was really
pretty awesome. I'm gonna have to take a look.
It was really,
it.
you know, it's very elaborate.
It is, and I appreciated that he was like totally looking. You know, he was really wanting to get it really detailed and stuff like that. And he actually invited us to come back after it's healed in a few weeks if we wanted any touch up or highlights or anything like that on the house, which I thought was nice.
Yeah. Just keeping an eye on the cat before she
The one thing
destroys our chair.
Yeah, we have 2 chairs in our living room that and there's a scratching thing right there, but they like to scratch the
post. But they do use the scratching post, but they've occasionally gone after the chair.
And that'll be crazy hour. They're jumping over each other. So we just appreciate all the comments and support that we got for getting our tattoos. It's like one of those things when we first said it out loud. I knew we would probably do it, but it's kind of like...
It seemed more like a joke at first.
It was kind of a joke at first. But then as we started making plans for it and then doing it, I was like, this is really going to happen, which is awesome because I really wanted it. It was something that I think that I'm excited that we like had the idea and then we actually went through with it. Let's see if Gordy...
I know, I was kind of keeping my eye on the chair, but...
I just moved the chair in case she wants to come on up and join us.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure. I mean, when we first started joking about it, it was sort of a joke at first, but I always figured that, you know, I was too old, so...
No.
But anyway.
And it's like one of those things where when so many people are like, "Oh my gosh, that's so amazing!" Everything like, now what's next?
Now you're stuck.
You
Oh
know,
yeah, right. After you do it,
do we have to like start bungee jumping?
it's gonna be
Is
an
it
all.
gonna be like
It's gonna be all extreme things. It's gonna be like the X Games.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to start snowboarding.
Yeah, we're gonna have to like race car
Bungee
driving, just like all
motocross.
sorts of, yep. So just stay tuned.
Body piercing.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
You already have
that.
ears and stuff.
Yeah,
So
but
you're done. You don't even have to worry about that.
That's true.
That's not my thing.
And actually, when I was in high school, I actually pierced my friend's ear, which now I would never be able to do that to somebody else. But then I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Back then, you just didn't care.
I guess not.
Cold blooded.
So yeah, I'm glad those days are over. But yeah, we're not sure what the an extreme thing that we're gonna do next, but maybe nothing.
That thing where they wear the flight suit and they jump off the edge of the cliff and
I just saw one of that recently.
Well, we saw. I want to say it was like 60 Minutes or something. We saw a 15-minute little thing on it.
Do you guys know what we're talking about? It's like somebody they wear a suit that's like.
There's a term for it. It
almost looks like a bat.
Yeah, I mean it's sort of like it's made out of parachute material.
And they don't have any parachute or anything like that. It's just like a glide thing, and it's base jumping, and you just go.
Well, see, you jumped the gun because I wanted to verify that that's I don't think that is the name of it.
Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, so don't assume I know what I'm talking about.
But you actually just, with whatever this thing is you wear, you just fall off of a cliff basically, and you just try to stay close to the cliff, and it just goes really fast. And then I don't actually know how you actually end, like if you're able to just like go up somehow and then just land. I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know.
I would never do that in a million years. Although I'm kind of afraid of heights, so that's another thing. So that would probably not be a good thing if you're afraid of heights to try something like that. And then I was thinking, like, how do you do that for the first time and then be like, okay, I'm going to do that again, or say never again?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm not going to bungee jump with you, like a tandem bungee jump.
Yeah, I don't think I
could
want
do
to do
that.
bungee jumping, honestly.
No, actually, when you see it, especially when it's like off of a bridge kind of thing, even like if there's water down below, it always seems like that cord goes really far down before it comes up. So it's just like, I know, it's a pass.
There was a I think it was a Reebok commercial. Was it Reebok that had the shoes, the athletic shoes you pump up, right?
Yes.
And it was featuring somebody, bungee jumping with the shoes on, and then somebody with other shoes on, and the other person just the shoes came back up.
Oh.
And people were upset about it. They didn't.
That's funny.
They thought it was disturbing or something like that. I actually thought it was kind of funny. Yeah, Reebok bungee jump commercial. Oh, it's the other person is wearing Nikes, and the one guy's got the pump, shoes, and anyway.
What year is that? Does it say?
It can't be 2007. 1990? Yeah, 1990. There's a video on YouTube, and the video was posted in 2007, but I knew it was longer ago than that.
Yeah.
And I don't recall whether it was like a Super Bowl commercial or something like that. I have the sound muted on my computer, so I'm gonna. It's like a minute long. They don't make minute-long commercials anymore.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, we were underwhelmed with the commercials during the Super Bowl. None were that.
Yeah, and I don't really get all that excited about it anyway, but it seemed like they were just basically regular commercials. And I also was underwhelmed with the game.
Yeah, the game was kind of not that fun either, but I barely knew who was even playing in the Super Bowl, and I knew that they were playing in Tampa Bay, and when I saw TB for the other thing, I was like, I wonder. I almost asked you, like, what? And then I was like, Jennifer, it's Tampa Bay. That's why they're there. Well,
they used to be in the same division as the Bears years ago, when they were only.
So I'm glad I didn't ask you what game it is, because I realized it quickly. I'm like, duh.
I was just watching the commercial out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, well, the big thing, of course, was that Tom Brady left the Patriots and ended up going to Tampa Bay. And he's not everybody's favorite. I know a lot of people love him, but I don't like anybody who's that successful because over that period of time, the Bears have been pretty mediocre.
And then we were saying, like, it's all great that you're still playing at that point, but why don't you step aside and let somebody else do it?
I also saw people talking about whether or not, because this was his seventh World Series ring, I said World Series.
Oh, yeah, Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, it's only Tuesday. Seventh Super Bowl championship. Does that make him the greatest athlete of all time? And I'm like, well, first of all, Bill Russell won, I don't know how many championships with the Celtics. I want to say it was 12 or so.
Yeah.
Rocket Richard won something like that number of Stanley Cups with Montreal. I want to say 12 or 13. So the number of championships doesn't make it.
His name is Rocky Richard.
No, his nickname was Rocket Richard.
Oh, Rocket Richard.
Yeah. But and in football, I mean, it's not just a team sport. It's like they're very regimented roles. So how do you compare any quarterback or any football player
right
with people who are in individual sports, Venus Williams, Serena Williams, the great golfers, Tiger Woods and the rest. How do you compare them with people who play sports where you have to play both ends, like in basketball and
that's true.
Hockey and soccer? I really can't look at Tom Brady or really anyone else in football, and then look at someone like Michael Jordan or LeBron today and say they're even necessarily on the same level. And this is the thing; it's interesting. When I was a kid, it was taken as an article of faith that NBA players were the greatest athletes overall in all sports. Everyone agreed that was the case. Now, nobody seems to think that's the case. But I'm not even saying that he's not one of the greatest athletes of all time. I'm saying, how can you make that determination? Because it's such a defined role. Michael Jordan was the best offensive player in basketball, but he was also one of the best defensive players in basketball. He also had an unbelievable ability to make free throws. He was up there with Larry Bird and people like that who were the top free throw shooters. How do you compare NFL football to hockey, where you got to play on skates?
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you compare quarterbacks to or any football player to athletes in individual sports like gymnastics?
Right.
I mean,
or track and field or something like that.
Right, or track and field. A top gymnast is in multiple. I was going to say 15 events, probably not 15 events, but you're not in one event in the Olympics or in a world championship. Same with track and field. How do you compare an NFL football player with a top decathlete? I just don't think you can. It's not that it's untrue. But the other thing that kills me about that is my reaction was when people are saying, "Oh, now that he won the 7th championship." Well, my reaction to that is, look, the Tampa Bay defense won the Super Bowl. Tom Brady was lucky to be on a team that had that defense.
Right.
So I think it's funny that this was not by any means Tom Brady's best Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It just wasn't.
And I think that if it was me and I was 40, what is he, 43 or something like that, I would just, if he won, retire on top and just, not forget about it and retire and let somebody else get a chance.
Well, I think in his case, he's been durable. He's not, as far as I recall, had a whole lot of injuries. Someone will say, no, he had this and that and the other thing. But I don't remember him having a lot of injuries. And, quarterbacks are protected. So, although Patrick Mahomes wasn't protected.
No.
But anyway, I think that helps a lot. But
And I think just because of COVID and everything, there just wasn't as much hype, the game, and it was just kind of weird.
that's another thing. You talk about longevity. Yeah, he's played for a long time, and that's great. But like somebody like Walter Payton, who took a heck of a lot more abuse on a daily or not daily basis, but
Right.
in every game he played, and still had a really long career.
Right.
I think that's a lot more impressive than.
Yeah, because everyone's
A
trying to run you over.
And quarterbacks get noticed because they do flashy things. But the reason why Walter Payton was always the best football player on the field anytime he played, in any position, the best football player on the field, was because he did all of those little difficult, gritty things that you don't get recognized for. His best runs were sometimes the ones that picked up a yard or two because they were the toughest. So I'm sorry, he's not. Tom Brady is not among football players. He's not in the Walter Payton stratosphere, in my opinion. And so I don't know how you compare it to other sports.
I don't think you can.
And mostly this is envy, pure envy. So I mean, don't take anything I say seriously. Tom Brady, he's in the same bucket as Aaron Rodgers. Although I hate Aaron Rodgers a lot more because obviously he plays for the Packers.
Right.
Um,
Sworn enemies of Bears.
Right.
And Chicago people.
But that's not to say he's not a great quarterback.
That's true. So we watched the Super Bowl. It wasn't that great. So that's the end of the football season. So.
Well, and I definitely wanted Kansas City to win, and I have cousins who are Kansas City fans, so.
Yeah.
That was
better luck next year.
Right.
So that's what's going on with us this week so far. We are going to try to survive the Arctic blast a little bit more. I think, as you said, it's just going to be really cold for the next foreseeable future, and snow.
Can you see Waffle on the?
Yes.
On the floor? Sort of on her side, kind of rolling over on her back.
Yep. So we're going to hang out with our cats now and have a good rest of the night. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.